Welcome to another read aloud of Swindle. We are starting on chapter 9. I'm super excited to get started with this. I mostly want to know if the girl can become friends with Luther, the dog. I want to know if she can work that because she seems very animal oriented. So I'm kind of curious about that. But anyway, today your assignment for your thinking tracks is to do 4 thoughts and 3 vocabulary words. So make sure that you do that. When you write your thoughts, make sure that they are specific and that they're complete sentences, okay? I don't want you writing things like, that was cool, or that was scary, or this was nasty, because I don't know what this is, okay? So if you're gonna write a sentence like that, make sure you let me know what you're talking about so that I can tell you're really listening to the story. But you guys are doing a great job. Reading through your thinking tracks is one of my favorite things to do because I really love this book so much, and I think that you guys are really liking it too. So that makes me happy. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Chapter 9, here we go. Chapter 9. For Griffin, watching a plan coming together was like completing a jigsaw puzzle. It started as a flimsy frame on the outer edge, then slowly the pieces filled in until the final image began to appear. With the baseball card heist, however, the finished picture was marred by a gaping black hole named Luther. Remember, Luther is the dog. It was Savannah's 4th meeting with the Doberman, and the girl was still baffled. I don't understand it, she confessed, leaning against the fence outside Palomino's Emporium. I fed him, soothed him, talked to him, reasoned with him. I watched The Horse Whisperer twice last night, hoping for inspiration. Maybe you should watch Dog Whisperer, Ben suggested glumly. I've already TVO'd the entire season, she replied earnestly. Nothing helps. I never thought I could write off an innocent animal, but I have to admit it. This dog is beyond my reach. Oh, shoot, that's not what I expected. Griffin was stricken. You're giving up? No, you can't. She shrugged helplessly. Believe me, it doesn't make me happy, but what choice do I have? She indicated Luther on the other side of the fence. Look at his eyes. There's no let up in the anger, not even any curiosity about me. This is my 4th night here, but to him, I'm just an intruder. Griffin was devastated. You can't quit now, he moaned. Please, please give it one more shot. Savannah's look of disappointment morphed into deep suspicion. Wait a minute. I know you guys. You're not getting this worked up over a dog. What's this really about? Griffin hesitated. The more people who were in on a conspiracy, the greater the chance that one of them would let something slip. But he had no choice. Without a dog whisperer to neutralize Luther, any plan would be doomed. There was no way to sugarcoat it, so he told her straight out, we need you to calm down the dog so we can break into the store and steal a baseball card. Savannah's jaw dropped open in shock, so Griffin quickly stammered, it's not as bad as it sounds. We'll give you a cut of the money. Her face burned bright red with fury. I can't believe you just said that. You want me to help you pull off a robbery? You're either crazy or you think I'm crazy. I'm telling my mother. I'm telling Mr. Palomino. I'm telling the police. As her voice rose, she gestured wildly, and a couple of fingers penetrated the chain-like fence. Like a shark smelling blood in the water, Luther snapped at her hand and would have taken off both digits if Ben hadn't pulled her back from the gate. Ooh, she's lucky. Her rage doubled. Savannah wheeled on the Doberman. You miserable, mangy waste of dog food. How dare you do that to me? I've shown you nothing but kindness, and this is how you behave? You don't deserve to be an animal. Rabies would be too good for you. You should be put on a rocket ship and blasted to Alpha Centauri. You evil, soulless, ill-tempered, psychopathic canine. Oh my, she's mad. Griffin and Ben were frozen in shock at the sudden change in their classmate. Never had they heard such a tirade, and certainly not from a soft-spoken, level-headed Savannah Drysdale. But the boy's reaction was mild compared to the effect of the outburst on Luther. The lunging beast tumbled off the fence as if it had suddenly become boneless. It dropped to its belly and began groveling toward Savannah, wagging its tail and whimpering, gazing up at her with soulful, pleading eyes. What? That's weird. Savannah, breathed Ben. Look, I'm never going to forgive you for Sorry, I'm never going to forgive you guys for this, she hissed. Do you think I wanted to take a proud, glorious animal and break his spirit? It's okay, Griffin insisted. This is exactly what we are hoping for. Now you see where crimes get you, she seethed. Not only are both of you going to jail, but you've forced me to go against everything I've ever believed in. I've destroyed this beautiful dog. This beautiful dog almost ate two of your fingers, Ben reminded her. Savannah, listen, Griffin said. We're not criminals. That card is rightly ours. I don't care, Savannah interrupted hotly. I'm leaving. She reached through the fence and stroked the dark fur behind Luther's neck. I'm sorry, boy. I didn't mean to do it. What? And now she gets to pet him? That's crazy. The Doberman rolled over, presenting its belly to be tickled. Griffin was desperate. Fine, you can leave. You can even hate our guts, but please don't tell anybody what we're planning. No fear of that. Savannah was clearly both angry and hurt. As far as I'm concerned, you two nutjobs don't even exist anymore. If you want my opinion, you should both seek mental help. She kissed Luther through the fence, promised I'll come visit you, sweetie, and stormed off into the night. Now she kissed him? What? That's crazy. Griffin watched her walk away. Well, he said, that could have been a lot worse. Ben gawked at him. I hope you're kidding. Think about it. She took care of the dog and promised not to rat us out. What more could we ask for? Luther tossed them a baleful look and trotted off into the shadows near the store. Ben was unconvinced. I don't know, Griffin. He doesn't look so taken care of to me. What if the dog whispering only works for Savannah? Griffin shrugged. You saw how to handle him. If he gets uppity, you just have to yell and scream and threaten to send him to Alpha Centauri. Alpha Centauri. I've got that special feeling in my gut, and it says the time to act is now. Ben frowned. Griffin's gut was as reliable as Old Faithful when it came to choosing the right time to put a plan into action. Only we're not ready yet, he protested. The plan isn't even finished. We still don't have a way to get past the deadbolts and into the store. Oh, yes, we do. The man with the plan could not suppress a smile. Remember that 5th grade project on the Trojan War? Chapter 10. On October 10th at exactly 5:30 p.m., Swindle Palomino left his store and drove off in his Honda Element. He never noticed two furtive eyes peering out of a narrow alleyway at the end of the block. A moment later, Griffin teetered onto the sidewalk, struggling with a heavily laden hand truck. Balanced on the cargo ledge was a large crate that might have held a 33-inch TV. It did not hold a 33-inch TV. There was a grunt of pain as the hand truck bounced over a spot of broken pavement, and a voice from the inside the box hissed, "Watch it!" Griffin said nothing. In the Trojan War, talking to the warriors hidden inside the wooden horse was a definite no-no. Twisting his neck to see over his shoulder, he backed down the street and peered in the open gate in front of peeked in the open gate in front of Palomino's Emporium. Perfect. No customers. Tom Dufferin was alone, tidying up the sales counter. Griffin frowned. The assistant manager had a clear view of the door. Come on, he thought. Move. A minute later, then two, sweat formed on Griffin's brow. How long could he stand here before someone noticed a 1,000-pound crate in the care of an 11-year-old delivery man? At last, Dufferin picked up an armload of comics and headed to a display case at the back of the shop. Now! Griffin nearly dislocated both shoulders, tipping the load so he could roll it again. Ears roaring, he hauled the shipment in through the gate and set it down at the entrance. Uh-oh, the hand truck was stuck under the weight of the container. He couldn't budge it. What's going on? Came an urgent whisper from the box. What's all that shaking? Shh, Griffin hissed. Inside the store, Dufferin had finished shelving the comics. In another few seconds, he'd be back at the front. Griffin marshaled his strength and gave a mammoth yank. With a screech, the cargo ledge pulled free. One of the metal handles whacked him in the mouth. Oh, shoot. And he staggered backward, tasting blood. Reeling, he scampered out through the gate. It had been close, but he'd made the drop off. The operation had begun. So if I'm getting this right, you guys, it sounds like Griffin has put Ben into like a cargo thing. A container. And then he dropped him off inside of the store and then took off. And that's the beginning of their plan, which seems really scary. Tom Dufferin frowned at the bulky crate that had suddenly appeared at the door. He hadn't heard the delivery truck. It must have come in the last few minutes when he'd been in the back. He examined the brown paper that covered the wooden frame. It bore the address of the shop and the message. Swindle, Palomino, personal and confidential, to be opened by addressee only. With a shrug, Tom dragged the heavy container inside. Idly, he wondered what was so special that Palomino himself had to open it. Printed matter, probably, judging by the weight. Somebody's lifelong collection of comic books or magazines. He set the store's alarm, stepped out, and locked the door behind him. Whatever it was, the boss would deal with it when he arrived the next morning. On the other side of the glass, the paper moved ever so slightly, the rustle of nervous breath through air holes. Okay, so it sounds like Griffin actually dropped him off like in front of the store. And then this guy, what's his name again? Oh, shoot, Tom. Tom dragged in the box. So now he's in the store, but he's locked in. Okay, scary. All right, let's keep reading. There were times that Ben Slavic wished he had an ordinary best friend instead of the man with the plan. An ordinary best friend never would have convinced him to shut himself in a TV crate to get inside Palomino's Emporium. That was definite. As Trojan horses went, the crate was a cramped affair. Ben was the smallest kid in 6th grade. Still, he had to lie on his side with his knees pulled into his chest to fit into the small space. No pain, no gain, he reminded himself. This is for $1 million. For some reason, the money didn't seem quite real to him. Helping the Bings, saving them from having to sell their house, that was real. He'd do anything not to lose Griffin, but $1 million for a baseball card? Science fiction. Yet the weight of all that cash closed in on him as relentlessly as the frame of the crate. Stealing something worth $1 million was the same as stealing the million itself, wasn't it? On top of everything else that made him uneasy about this capper, he couldn't escape the feeling that they might be committing a very serious crime. He peered through the gloom at his watch. 6:03. Sundown was supposed to come at 6:57. After that, the plan added 30 minutes more to let it get dark. By that time, it would be impossible to read the dial. Count, Griffin had instructed. Easy for him to say. 87 minutes equaled 5,220 seconds. And hey, now it was 6:05. The first 120 seconds were already over. He could start at 121, 122, 123. Just before 200, he was aware of the first yawn. Stop it, he commanded himself. Nobody falls asleep in the middle of a heist. Yet, as he counted doggedly on, he could feel his eyelids getting heavier, the way they always did. No, not here, not now. He had barely reached 500. 5:29, his voice filled the empty store. 5:30. Uh-oh. This was crazy. Fear alone should be keeping him awake. Did Achilles get caught napping inside the Trojan horse? 801, 802. He actually counted 803, but he was no longer awake to hear it. Oh no. Is he going to fall asleep in there? How do you fall asleep in the middle of a heist? I don't understand that. Okay, we'll read one more chapter, and then we'll stop. Chapter 11. Hey, Luther, where are you, boy? Griffin squinted through the gate into the darkness of the yard. The Doberman was nowhere to be seen. Griffin frowned. Not that he had any great love for the dog, but it was always unnerving when real life didn't match what you'd planned for. What if Luther had been left overnight in the store? If Ben opened the crate to find that raving beast staring at him, he'd have a heart attack. Anxiously, Griffin began to climb the fence. It was tougher than he expected because of the ace line tank of his father's blowtorch, which was strapped to his back. He clambered down the opposite side and shined a flashlight through the display window. No sign of Ben or the dog. Griffin's eyes fell on the crate, which sat just inside the door. The wrapping paper was undisturbed. He checked his watch. It was 7:45. Why was Ben still in the box? He rapped on the glass. Ben, he stage whispered into the crack of the door. He knocked harder. What are you doing, man? It's time. He experienced a moment of irritational terror. Had they forgotten the air holes? Oh no. And then the scissors broke through the brown paper. Griffin watched breathlessly as the blade sawed laboriously around the square frame and disappeared again. A moment later, the lid was pushed open and Ben's head popped into view. Griffin took in the bleary, blinking eyes. He fell asleep. Through his disbelief, Griffin couldn't suppress a hint of admiration. It was hard to imagine anyone being able to relax at a time like this. Ben was definitely one in a million. A beeping sound brought Griffin back to urgent focus. The alarm! The intruder had triggered the motion sensor. Ben scampered to the keypad. He had 30 seconds, no more. Griffin tried to fight off his uncertainty as his friend punched in 1701. If they were wrong about the code, the siren was going to bust every eardrum between here and New York City. There was a triple chime, and the beeping stopped. The alarm was off. Whew! They're lucky. Thank goodness for his dad telling him that. Ben unlocked the door and let Griffin inside. Sorry I'm late, he said sheepishly. Any problems with the dog? Griffin shone his flashlight up and down the aisle. The dog's a no-show. Must be flea bath night. Ben looked around restively. I hate this place. It's like the wiring of those cases is going to come alive and strangle us. Griffin patted the blowtorch. Forget the cases. All we want is the safe. They followed the beam to the original scene of the crime, Swindle's sales desk. Griffin felt no guilt, only the exhilaration of a perfectly executed plan. They had done it. They were inside. No dog, fence, deadbolt, or burglar alarm could stop them now. He moved behind the counter and froze. The lockbox was not there. Where's the safe? He blurted. Ben appeared at his side. Behind the cash register, his mouth fell open. It was right here, attached to the floor. Griffin got down on his knees and focused the flashlight on the weathered hardwood. 4 bolt holes marked the spot where the lockbox had once been. Search the store, Griffin rasped. They combed the aisles, the stock area, even the bathroom. The safe was nowhere to be found. Griffin looked stunned. I considered every possible move and countermove except one. Ben nodded miserably. A safe that can be bolted can also be unbolted and taken someplace else. Swindle had turned out to be a step ahead of them, a perfect plan, executed perfectly, and it's all for nothing. Maybe not, Ben said hopefully. I mean, the card's not here, but we're standing in the middle of Swindle's store. So instead, why don't we just take a bunch of other stuff that adds up to the same money? Griffin swelled like a blowfish. I am not a thief. I came here to find what's rightfully mine and take it back. I don't want anything that doesn't belong to me. But you'll never track down that card now, Ben reasoned. Who knows where Swindle could have hidden it? It could be in a safe deposit box in a bank vault. Griffin could offer only a helpless shrug. There was no quit in him, no surrender, but without the slightest clue where the Bambino might now be, no amount of planning or creative thinking or even genius was going to make a particle of difference. The man with a plan had run out of ideas. Okay, we're going to stop there, chapter 12. Make sure you do a really good job on your thinking tracks today, and we'll see you later. Try not to be sad. Sorry that the safe box wasn't there. Ooh, that's so depressing. That makes me sad. I can't wait to figure out what happens. Anyway, bye.